sneezing, wheezing, everything in the newsroom. It's allergy season and we're all feeling it.
Yeah, we're bringing in our own 9 Health expert for some more context on what you can do during allergy season. Dr. Pyle Coley, it is the season, truly. Is this about the time it always kind of starts up?
It is the time. In fact, this year we actually have it a little worse, and some estimates say about 3 weeks longer. And that's because of some of the climate change we've seen. We've seen sort of this crazy weather, a lot of warm weather, a lot of rainfall more than expected, and that's really popping open and sort of aerosolizing a lot of that pollen. And the pollen is sort of multiplying a little bit more aggressively than usual. There's also some interesting science of something called botanical sexism, which is that when a lot of people are planting cities, they're planting more male trees rather than female because they give off less of those things that land up on the sidewalk. And that may have increased the pollen counts. Now, some people are not so much buying into that in the scientific community, but I think there's a whole host of reasons we're feeling those allergies this year.
Well, and the wind last week just blew it all up, in my opinion. But there are people that say, I've never had an allergy before, and then all of a sudden, what is going on?
This is another phenomena. So when you think about allergies, it's the interplay of you as a human being and your predispositions, as well as your immune system and the environment. So there are a lot of people who have never had allergies in their life that can develop allergies in adulthood or adolescence, either because they change their environment, so they move to another state. For example, when I lived in Boston, I had a different set of allergies than I do here in Colorado, or because their immune system changes over time. So as we age, our immune system sensitivity changes, its reactivity changes. So a lot of us can start to develop allergies in adulthood. So don't be surprised if you're one of those individuals.
So then the real question is, what can you do? Because I feel like the people I know that have the worst are just on meds for months and months.
So there's the medications, and the medications sort of hit the 3 portals. So if you think about how pollen or allergens get into our body, it's the eyes, right? So you can use eye drops, antihistamine eye drops, lubricating. It's the nose. We have the Flonase or nasal steroids, even the nasal rinses like a neti pot or something that you could do. And then you could take a pill, like an antihistamine that can sort of turn off the immune system. But that's the medications. There's also some lifestyle things that you can do. So they suggest when the pollen counts are high, so if Kathy tells us that there's a lot of pollen out there, you wear your sunglasses when you're running or you're outside because it actually prevents entry of that pollen into your eyes. Some people actually say you should change your clothes, your shoes, maybe even rinse out your hair when you come home if you're particularly sensitive. And those HEPA filters inside can really help to sort of purify that air as well.
And there are some that do the allergy shots, and I've heard pros and cons about that.
That's true. Yep. So allergy shots for really severe sufferers. But here's the kicker with that. And I did allergy shots when I lived in Boston. And they're painful. You have to go and get injected. And it's basically training your immune system to stop overreacting.
Often. You have to go like every week or 2 or something.
It's a big time commitment. And then the minute you move to another state, it's a whole different environment. Because remember, it's the interplay of your immune system with the environment. So you really have to talk to your allergist about whether this makes sense for you. But, you know, for the longest time, we've thought allergies are completely benign and innocuous. But now what we're realizing is that they create inflammation. So even though the allergy itself is more of a nuisance, prolonged inflammation or prolonged allergy symptoms can create inflammation in your nose, can even damage DNA and create polyps and other reactionary things. So do talk to your allergist if you're having chronic allergies, you have sinus inflammation, because this may be something that might benefit you.
I also feel like right now in this time still, you have to say, it's allergies, I don't have COVID.
Yes. People are hacking and coughing
People
like, I promise I'm okay.
You're completely right, because the symptoms overlap so much. I mean, there's some differences. You don't get a fever with allergies and such, and thankfully, it's getting warmer. It's a beautiful day out today. So hopefully we're going to start to see a decline in the respiratory viruses and in the allergies as summer comes.
Okay, cope with it and get ahead of it. That's the other thing I often hear. Take the stuff like the nasal stuff before it even bothers you.
And that's a really good point, because if you start feeling sniffly or congested and wake up and then put a spray in, it's not going to work. It takes 5 to 7 days for those nasal sprays to work optimally. Now you'll get some relief, but it's really a good idea to sort of stay ahead of it. And if you are taking a lot of antihistamines, they're drying. We live in Colorado. They dry your eyes, they dry your throat. You really have to make sure to hydrate.
Hydrate. All right. Thank you, Dr. Coley.
Generally good advice,
as always. Right? You can always find out anything and everything. By the way, she just won a big cardiology award. Congratulations. I know that too. From Dr. Coley at 9news.com/Dr. Coley. Just have